Okay, here is my audience. Father-in-law, mother-in-law, daughter, and granddaughter. All right. Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Tracy Rife, and I'm pursuing a degree in psychology because I feel there is a great need for godly Christian counseling. And I'd like to take a few minutes to very briefly talk about individuals that may need godly Christian counseling. Believe it or not, there are people right here in America that have little or no knowledge about God, much less about His Son that He sent to die for us, that gives us hope. Now, one day, these individuals, just like all the rest of us, are going to experience some type of life-changing event which can bring on depression, anxiety, any type of mental health disorder. Now, hopefully, if it's very bad, these people will seek professional counseling. There are 3 points that I want to quickly highlight. The first one is there are many different types of mental health issues and what causes them and the treatment. The second point I'd like to make is the difference in the treatment that we provide now versus the treatment that we provided 50 years ago. And the third point is ways in which we as Christians can reach out to these people and make their lives better. So my first point, due to time constraints, I am combining the first and second mental health disorder, which are depression and anxiety, because they tend to go hand in hand. And depression and anxiety, either one, can be caused from any type of life-changing event, such as the loss of a loved one, change in job, any type of relocation. Any of those things can bring on depression and anxiety. Now, according to the American Psychological Association, these two mental health disorders can be treated quite successfully with a combination of medication and cognitive behavioral therapy. So I feel like this is where, as a therapist, as a counselor, you can introduce good godly values to these people. And I need to start over. I'm too distracted. All right. All right, here is my audience. Father-in-law, mother-in-law, grandbaby, daughter. All right, good afternoon and welcome. My name is Tracy Rife, and I'm pursuing a degree in psychology because I think it's very important for people to have good, godly values. And I'd like to take a few minutes to very briefly talk about individuals that might be in need of good, godly counseling. Believe it or not, right here in America, there are people that have little or no knowledge of God, much less that He sent His Son, Jesus Christ, to die for us. Now, one day these individuals, just like all the rest of us, are going to experience some type of traumatic life event, such as the loss of a loved one, loss of a job, maybe a relocation, a move. Any of those things can trigger depression, anxiety, and other mental health issues. Now, hopefully, if this gets really bad, these people will seek some type of professional counseling. There are 3 points that I would like to make, and the first one is that there are many different types of mental health disorders, as well as treatments, causes, and the second point is that there is a different method of treatment that we use now than we would have used 50 years ago. We've came a long way. And the third point is ways in which we as Christians can reach out to these people and offer them hope and help. The first point, due to time constraints, I am going to combine the first 2 mental health disorders that I want to talk about. That is depression and anxiety, because they tend to go hand in hand. One can trigger the other. Now, both of these are typically caused by some type of life-changing event. People can experience depression or anxiety for a variety of different reasons. According to the American Psychological Associations, these 2 disorders are the most common. But they're highly treatable illnesses through a combination of medication and cognitive behavioral therapy. And this is where I feel like as a counselor you can bring in good godly wisdom and values that you can communicate to these people and give them hope for a future. The third one is bipolar disorder. It's also very common, but there is no known cause for bipolar disorder. Some tend to think that it could be hereditary. Ethnicity plays a part in it. But bipolar disorder is also a mental health issue that is highly treatable through the same methods, medication as well as cognitive behavioral therapy and counseling. The second point I would like to make is the difference in the treatment that we offer today versus 50 years ago. 50 years ago, people that experienced any type of physical disability, mental health disability, they were either put in an asylum, they were outcasts, so to speak, and they were typically treated with very high doses of medication. And one of the medications that was very commonly used back then was called pentobarbital. It's a very highly addictive medication, as well as it can be very lethal. As a matter of fact, this drug was pulled from the market and is currently only used in the prison system. We still use it today. As a matter of fact, according to an article that was written by Henk van Zetten, in March 2011, right here in Ohio, Johnny Bastone was the first to be executed with a single dose of lethal injection of pentobarbital. The third point I would like to talk about, is that God admonishes us as Christians to reach out to help individuals in any way that we can, whether that be through a friendship with them, whether it be through a church ministry, through if they're your coworker, or as a professional counselor in that type of setting. God wants us to reach out to these individuals to offer them hope. And according to Elizabeth Stamm and her colleagues, therapy starts to untangle all the factors that may be affecting what you do and help you understand why you may be feeling bad about the things that you do and why you're not feeling bad about some of the things that you should be feeling bad about that you do. This is when a Christian counselor could step in and offer some type of godly counseling to these individuals to help them through these types of life situations. We could direct them to God because He's the answer for all of our problems. So in closing, remember, first, mental health disorders are very common. They can happen to any of us at any given time, depending on our life situation and things that could be happening. But there is treatment through medication and therapy. And secondly, the treatment out there is readily available and very much different than it was 50 years ago, thank goodness. And third, and most of all, God offers hope for a hurting world. Thank you for your attention.